Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to Inside Wealth, where we talk about the kind of wealth that money alone just can't buy. So Merry Christmas to you in advance, Kwanzaa, if that's what you celebrate. If you had the Hanukkah thing going on, well, you already had your gifts. Anyway, and if you don't believe in anything, well, then I guess you do less shopping and stay on less lines. What can I tell you? There's something for everybody to celebrate here, and that really is what Inside Wealth is really all about. It's simply about a celebration of life. You know, and if you don't have that, and you have a lot of money in your bank account, are you really wealthy? Well, that's what we're here to explore week after week after week. And this one actually is a first for us here on Inside Wealth, if you've been a regular listener to the show. It's because not only do you have the opportunity to listen to this program as you ordinarily may, you get a chance to see it. And see that I actually have shaved for this event. Because normally I don't have to, right? But this time, you get to take this entire program through a tube. In this case, it's YouTube. You know, you see all those mass debaters out there. Oh, people who debate in mass form, excuse me, the Republicans and the Democrats out there who now do it on YouTube. Well, okay, we're just playing follow the imminent leader out there and doing the same. So you can actually see this on YouTube. And if you come to our website at InsideWealth.net, that's InsideWealth.net, you'll be able to get a link to this whole thing, and you'll be able to see us in action, so you can put a face to the voice, to the name, to all of it, and certainly to the energy of having an absolutely extraordinary life. Our featured guest is in studio today, and he's Premal Shah, who's the founder of Kiva.org, which is the only online person-to-person micro-lending institution. They make loans to entrepreneurs, direct loans in developing countries, in an effort to end poverty. So we're going to talk to Premal because on this Christmas season that we're in, wouldn't that be just a huge gift to offer each other and the world? We also have with us a valued Brain Trust member, Marcia Wieder. And Marcia is the founder and CEO of Dream University. She's been on Oprah, she's been on Today's Show, and yada, yada, yada. All the shows. And she's going to share some of her wisdom so that we can help to make our dreams a living reality. But before we get to Premal and Marcia, you get this week's very heaping helping bowl of stew. Oh yeah, this bowl of stew, you know, we really look at, if we're talking about Christmas now, and we're talking about a season for giving. And it's not about forgiving necessarily as being two words, as for giving presents. It could actually be one word, forgiving, which, to the best of my understanding, is one of the things that Jesus himself stood for very much, is forgiveness. So why don't we start by forgiving these major institutions out there. Let's forgive big business, and let's forgive big religion, and let's consider they've all done the best they possibly could with the awareness that they've had in the moment. Because I think it's high time that the religions take a page out of big business section of the newspapers and the Wall Street Journal and consider some mega mergers. Could you imagine on Christmas Eve that all the Christians would decide to get together and merge as one religion? Could you imagine? You know, you got to give money some credit. We all know that money isn't nearly as high a vibration as, let's say, God is. But you got to give money some credit, because at least with money, all the denominations like each other. You know, and the religions, you know, those denominations, the Baptists, the Protestants, and the Mormons, and all those guys, you know, wouldn't it be a great, great birthday gift for Jesus himself? As Jesus is turning what now? 2008? How old is this guy? Right? Wouldn't it be a great birthday gift for all the Christians to get together and consider a mega merger? And you know the reason why all these mergers take place in business, right? It's about reducing redundancies to get to the bottom line. So they lose the overhead, they lose the middleman, they lose a lot of these intermediary, marketing and other overhead type issues and functions to drop everything down to the bottom line. So what is the bottom line of all these religions? Isn't it oneness with all there is? So I just wonder, what would happen if all the Catholics, the Catholic Church, who seem to have a lot of money, and the Baptists, and the Protestants, and the Lutherans, and Presbyterians, and all the people, Unitarians, and all the people out there all the denominations Episcopalians, and all the others that I may not know off the top of my head, what if they were to completely eliminate their marketing budget and instead put it right down to the bottom line of creating greater oneness with all there is? Shortly after all the Christians merged together, why not consider merging with the Jews? Why not consider merging with the Jews? You could call it Judeo-Christian. I read about that once. In fact, there's even a prototype for it. And it's called Mormons. Because the Mormons do consider themselves the lost tribe of Israel, so they have that going for them. They seem to be pretty good with business and money, so that sounds kind of Jewish. And they also very much honor the Savior of Christ. So how about all of those going on? So we have a prototype going on. They seem to be doing very well. Ask Mitt Romney. So let's move forward. That once the Judeos and the Christians merge, why not then merge with Islam? I know that's going to be a hard one. I know that sounds really hard because this has been one massive family feud now for how many years? And what makes it a family feud is the fact they all have the same dad. Abe. Or Abraham, if you prefer the formal. So he was the first guy to come along and say, you know what? There is only one, all that is. Let's call it God, or Adonai, or whatever word he used for it. Wouldn't it be amazing if all three of these Abrahamic tribes and traditions were able to come together in understanding that just maybe whatever they consider God to be is even bigger than what they can possibly imagine, and just offer for the glimmer and ray of possibility that in fact that which is infinite is present in all things and in all moments. Wouldn't that be an amazing revelation? And after that, everybody else would pretty much fall in line. The Hindus, bring them on in, and then we can get to the Buddhists, who are already one with everything, or so they think. And so why not bring them all together? And it kind of conjures up, take another example out of the page of business, is AT&T. Have you seen any of those commercials where now that we're living in this major one world, in the wireless world that we live in, and you see the guy says, well, I live in Philadelphia, and my friend's in Delaware, my brother is studying abroad in Prague, and I've got business in Chicago, and I don't live in Philadelphia anymore, I live in Philaware, Praga, because it's all one world, and the world is shrinking, and we're one humanity. And that's where he needs his cell coverage to cover all those areas. There's a place called Philaware, Praga. So why don't we take that same thought and consider when all the religions merge together and take all the money that they spend mistrusting each other and marketing against each other and apply it to the bottom line of humanity and uplifting humanity in honoring of all that is. It's all been created and all part of one thing, whatever you call it. That maybe, with our version of Philaware Praga, it could be Chrislam, Hindu, Judaist. Christian, Islam, Hindu, Jewish, and Buddhist. But then, of course, we'd be dishonoring all the atheists. So why don't we consider maybe something called A through Z theist? That way, you get the atheist, you get the Z-theist, you get everybody in between theist. If that's a word. Now it is. Could you imagine a world in which truly religion were to dissolve away and there was just honoring a presence of one humanity? That would be a joy to the world that would blow away any Christmas carol.